What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, and no hate. Just a little bit of news about this Mike Tyson, Roy Jones situation. Antonio Tarver did a video and he claimed Roy Jones is ducking him. He claims that Mike Tyson is ducking Evander Holyfield. And you know what I think about this is Antonio Tarver sounds bitter. He sounds salty because let's be realistic. Okay, and he said a lot of real harsh things about Roy Jones over the years. Um, uh, he's also, a couple of months ago, he did a video saying he appreciates Roy Jones because without Roy Jones, like Roy Jones, he got popular, like that fight, this, that, whatever. But then he turns around and starts saying a bunch of like outlandish shit, right? So I'm saying, you know what? Now let's just be realistic. Let's look at Antonio Tarver. If you take Roy Jones' name off of his resume, who in the hell cares about Antonio Tarver? Who's talking about Antonio Tarver? I mean, he basically, there's certain fighters that, if you look at their history, right, it's one particular name that got them recognition. We can look at Ken Norton. If you take Muhammad Ali out of Ken Norton's resume, I remember him getting knocked out by Ernie Shavers in 1 round. I remember him getting knocked out by George Foreman in 4 rounds. I remember him. He got. Well, he got beat by Larry Holmes. That's what Larry Holmes got his title, and basically he I think Chevalo knocked him out too. I could be no Quarry. One of them. I think Quarry knocked him out too. Or was it Shea? It was one of them. It was one of them. Might have been Shavers that he knocked out. But anyway, that's my point. Him beating Ali, okay, 1 out of the 3 fights. A lot of people thought he won the third fight. But regardless, if you take Ali out of the equation, who did Ken Norton beat that you cared about? And I'm not saying he wasn't a good fighter, but I mean, who did he beat that you cared about? Who's talking about any Ken Norton highlights? And if you think Ken Norton and then you dig into your mind, that's the first things you think about is that he got knocked out by Shavers in 1 round. He got knocked out by Foreman in 4 rounds. He beat Ali. Ali beat him, and he lost to Larry Holmes. What's the other highlights? Ken Norton is not somebody people talk about like that. Antonio Tarver is not someone people talk about. I mean, do you care that he fought Glenn Johnson 2 times? He lost his very first title defense and then won it back in the rematch. Then he got beat by Bernard Hopkins. Now, um, he got beat. He's older. Got beat by Chad Dawson, Glenn Johnson, another guy. But he's not talking shit, so okay, he get a pass. I'm not talking about Glenn Johnson, but these are guys that caught Roy at the right time because even though they're the same age, they had more. They at this their confidence and what they had was it overcame because Roy wasn't as confident after that knockout. In the rematch with Tarver, he lost all that weight and all, and he was 36 at the time, and I'm pretty sure it psychologically had it because you could see Roy wasn't the same. When Roy fought David Telesco, I remember several fighters. You see Roy back himself in the corner. He's waving you in. Come on, come on, come on. He want to go, right? When Glenn Johnson, who's not even a big puncher, ran across the ring, Roy just kind of stood there and waited for him and backed up and just stood there with his hands up the whole time. Wouldn't throw punches, and when he does let his hands move, Glenn Johnson backs right off the same way. Antonio Tarver, they back right off. But Roy his confidence wasn't there anymore. And as we started to see that the reflexes wasn't the same, and you just started to see him deteriorate little by little. And at that point, they just had more to offer than Roy did at that time. So it's not like, oh, it's because he was old. No, they were the same age. It's just that they were better at that time than he was because they were able to execute and he wasn't. He still had the speed and the power. Reflexes wasn't quite the same. He didn't move as much as he used to. But regardless, they were better at that point. So, and it counts for something. But it was not the same Roy. Roy was going down. No different from, like it is and it isn't. It's like people say, oh, well, Lennox Lewis only beat Tyson because Tyson was going down. I don't care what version of Tyson I think Lennox Lewis. That's just my opinion. I think Lewis would have beat him regardless. But um, Mike Tyson, he was 36 when he got beat by 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 Lewis. Lewis is what 37, 30, or 35 or something like that. I know Lewis is older than Mike, but at the end of the day, it's like Antonio Tarver. He's not talking shit about fighting. You notice he never mentioned having a rematch with Bernard Hopkins, and Bernard embarrassed him, knocked him down, made him look stupid. He's only talking about fighting Roy for a fourth time. But you never hear him talk about fighting him in a rematch. You never hear him saying, hey, Glenn Johnson, you beat me once, I beat you once. Let's go for the tiebreaker, right? And if he really wants to be on this card, because last we saw Tarver, he was campaigning as a heavyweight. So if that's the case, right? Why didn't Tarver say, hey, you know what, Shannon? Mike Tyson, he pushed you aside. Let's me and you get in there and make it happen. But for some reason, he's just talking real salty about Roy, Roy this, Roy that. Roy's running from me and this and that, and just saying a bunch of shit. If Roy beat Mike, what did that say anyway? You know, and this and that. I mean, he's talking. It's like he's trying to find some way to get his name in there to fight somebody. Um, First off, if if Mike does win, that's not going to bait Roy into a fight with Tarver. I mean, who really cares to see it? People might not mind seeing it if he beats Mike, but if Mike beats Roy, then what do you have to gain to fight a beating a guy that just got beat already? What do you have to gain? And not only that, you know, but Antonio Tarver again, his name doesn't hold any weight, man. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. You take Roy Jones out of the picture. There's nothing about Antonio Tarver that you really care to even remember. This is just reality, man. Like who talks about Antonio Tarver without mentioning Roy Jones' name? Um, as far as the league itself, man, I'm hoping that they can build something that can keep this thing going because these guys are already in their 50s. Time goes by quick, man. It's not like they're gonna be doing this 3, 4 times out the year. You know, to make this thing successful, of course, it would just be a pay-per-view situation. But at the same time, um, nobody wants to like pay this kind of money. Like Mike and Roy are opening this. To be honest with you, then it's like people are more excited about Mike coming out of retirement. Okay, people are not willing to spend a lot of money to watch a bunch of exhibitions. Let's just be real. Um, so this particular fight is an exhibition. What about the fights on the undercard? You understand what I'm saying? So people are not trying to do that, and I don't see anybody else that have that kind of drawing power like Mike and Roy. I don't see it. People are talking more about this than they are about the current fighters that that's fighting now. So I don't know who else they will have that they can put these cards together. I don't know if this is going to be a monthly thing or just whenever they can get the right card together, which would probably be a better route to go because you don't want any of these shows to bomb because it's for charity, but it's a league. And there's money's going to charities and stuff like that. So they're trying to get celebrities, trying to get popular faces that can come out and do this, that where they can keep this thing going. And hopefully I hope that they can, because I enjoy this kind of stuff. But even as far as Mike and Roy, people might get disappointed because I know Mike's saying he's going for the knockout and all of that. But I know in exhibitions, even in the ref has stated that I'm if I my job is to not let them go for the knockout. So I'm expecting to see a boxing display, and people are saying as soon as Mike touches Roy, it's over, and people are saying things like that. But should that not be the case, and they're mixing it up, um, stop. This is not 2004 Roy Jones and 1989 Mike Tyson. So I mean, you know, I know everybody's excited because Mike's coming back and oh shit, he chose Roy, you know. But everybody that's saying he's going to do this and that, let me just say, whether he win, whether he lose, whether it's a draw, whatever they call it, it's an exhibition. They will be wearing 12-ounce gloves though, and no head guard from what was said already, no headgear. But they will be wearing 12-ounce gloves, and it's 8 rounds, man. Exhibitions are usually three or 4 rounds. This is 8 rounds. And I understand Roy saying, "Hey, I gotta take this like it's a fight because you know you never know what Mike can do." But they're both trying to sell the fight as well. You know, and I'm not saying Roy doesn't really mean that, but it's an exhibition, man, and it's no headgear. That's what's making it like, okay, hold up, no headgear, and not 16-ounce gloves, but 12 in 8 rounds. So I hope it's entertaining. I hope that people don't feel disappointed. I mean, whatever happens, happens. I can't control that, but um, it's just one of those situations where now I'm thinking about after Mike and Roy. Then what? Who's next? Because let's be real. You got Nate Robinson and Jake Paul on the undercard. Nobody's talking about Nate Robinson and Jake Paul. Nobody's talking about them. They're making their videos going back and forth at each other, but that's it. Nobody's talking about them. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see Evander Holyfield versus Shannon Briggs. Maybe that'll be the second, you know, something on the second card. Maybe Tarver will get in there with somebody else. Who knows? But it has to be a fight that people want to see, not just because it's a fighter from the past. I really don't see that kind of star power. Um, I mean, who else can they get? I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting. Not really. It wasn't even interesting. It was just funny that I saw Antonio Tarver just talking all this nonsense, and I'm like, what is he like? What are you trying to like? Are you trying to? You know, you're not going to fight Michael Roy because those two, that spot is already taken. So like, what are you? Are you just trying to get on the card or trying to? I mean, what are you doing? I mean, I know he's like announcing that bare knuckle fighting. He's one of the announcers over there. So like, what are you trying to do, man? I mean, you know, like I said, and honestly, I'd rather see Holyfield versus Briggs than I would rather than Tarver versus Briggs. To be honest with you, um, I don't even care to see Tarver fight. I mean, but depending on he'd have to fight somebody that you want to see. Is what I'm saying. His name holds no weight. Holyfield name holds more weight than Shannon Briggs. But I think Shannon got real popular over the internet with all his Let's Go champs, and you know he's been doing this for some years now. And I think that I don't think Holyfield and Briggs would make as much noise as Mike and Roy, to be honest with you. But I think for the second show, that's who they should have on, you know, fight each other is them two. Now, if we can get people like Lennox Lewis, you know, the Klitschko's, you know, James Toney said he wanted in, so maybe we'll get yeah. How about Antonio Tarver versus James Toney? How about that fight? That makes more sense. How about those two? Let Tony and Tarver go at it. How about those two? You know, let Holyfield. Now, will they put them on the same card? It looked like from what I'm seeing, it'll be two veteran boxers and then the rest other celebrities. But I don't think you'll have Tarver and Tony on the same card with Holyfield and Briggs. I think they need to save that to, like I said, each card I have like the legends, and then it'll be, you know, whoever else. Um, but anyway, that's all I'm gonna say on this video. I will catch y'all before I depart. Before I depart, let's support the event. I do want to see this thing grow. I want to see a positive outcome. That's why I didn't respect what Tarver was saying. Like, you know, he ain't got to say nothing to appease me, vice versa. But it's like, let the event grow, let people get into it. But I'm just being realistic about what you might not see because it's an exhibition, and I know the referee's job is to not let them get crazy. You know what I'm saying? And Tarver just sounds bitter, like he needs some attention. He's trying to get his name on there. So let's support the event, man. I definitely will be watching it, and just for fun. I'm not at all watching this expecting to see a prime Royal or prime Mike. That ship sailed a long time ago. I just want to see a fun event. Also, I do want to see Nate Robinson and Jake Paul. I want to see whatever else. Um, I just want to see a good event. Simple as that. It's not a stacked boxing card. But I just want to see a good event. I don't want to see it flop, because if this fails, if Mike and Roy fail, then Holyfield and Briggs don't have a chance. Neither does, anybody else, Tony, Tarver, whoever. So I just hope it's a good event. Now, that's all I'm going to say on this video. I will catch y'all on the next one.